Today we will talking about understanding law. This is fourth chapter of your civics, and here we know about the laws. What is law? Student, there are so many people live in our country, and they have different religion, there are different caste, and different areas, different background. That's why our constitution depend on the democratic, because democratic means which government is made by the people, which government is made by the people, and from where they got the government, they got the government on self on in between the people. And it means when people make the government by self, for the people, to the people, and by the people, because they make the government for own benefit, for our country. That's why this country is known as the democratic country, democratic constitution or democratic country. And now next point is here. Students, there are many type of people are living in our country. There are poor people, poor farmer, and rich people also living in our country. But if they create any conflict or any fight or any wrong thing or any crime, here is the question: both they do get equal punishment? No or yes? I will think on this. Here the question: if the poor person or a other side rich person, they, if they do same mistake, same accident, same crime, they got same punishment? Yes, according to your law, which is made by our constitution, give them same punishment, because according to your law, all persons are equal, all persons are equal, because on the basis of gender, religion, caste, gender, religion, and caste. According to your law, no can discriminate any person on the basis of their gender, because we know there are many works are divided into many parts, because some people are saying this work is divided only for girls and that work is only for boys. This is the gender inequality. But according to your law, no one can discriminate on the basis of gender and on the basis of caste, because in olden time there are many people live in our country, some brahmins, some shudra, kshatriya, vaishya, and they create inequality between each other. But nowadays our constitution tells us no one is different, all one equal. We cannot divide them on the basis of caste, religion, and areas. Area is the main problem, because some states in our country are different, southern states and like Nagaland, and people are thinking of our country, they are poor or they hate anything. That's why we avoid them, we fear them, neglect. But in our constitution, we cannot tell them anything. If we do with them unequality behavior or discriminate with them, we get same punishment in every field or every sector. Student, next point is specific punishment. Now, any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment, but in ancient India, law did not apply to equally to all. Even the punishment that two persons received for the same crime varied depending on their caste background, with lower caste being more ruthlessly penalized. But any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment. Our next point is Sedition Act. It is often believed that it was the British colonialists who introduced the role rule of law in India. Historians have disputed this claim to the several grounds, two of which include: first was the colonial law was the arbitrary, and second that the Indian nationalists played the prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in the British India. One example of the arbitrariness that continued the exit as part of the British law is the Sedition Act of 1870. The idea of the Sedition Act was very broadly understood within this act. Any person protesting the criticizing the British government next point I mentioned here is the voice. Sometimes it so happened that law passed by the parliament turn out be unpopular. Sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid and hence legal, but it can continue to be unacceptable to the people because they feel that the intentionally behind it is unfair and harmful. In such situation, people might civilize the law, this law be holding meeting, etc. Law is made by the parliament. Parliament make very important role to make the law. Parliament. The parliament make law on the subject given three lists. The union list includes the subject and national important like defense, bank, foreign affair, etc. Next is state list include the subject of state and local important like agriculture, trade, commercial, protest. Now, next point is constitution. The constitution usually a written document which contains a rules of government of sovereign state. And now Hindu Session Act. Hindu Session Act was with the adoption of the constitution. This documents several of the foundation on which our representative began making law for the country. Every year the representative pass several new laws as well as revise exists on it. The Hindu Session Amendment Act 2005. According to this new law, son and daughter and their mother can get an equal share of family property. Similarly, new law have been enacted to control the pollution and providing employment. How do the people came to think the purpose that the new law is necessary? You will read more about this in the next in section. This Hindu Session Act, girl and boy, girl and boy and their mother can get equal share of the family properly. And next point, domestic violence. In domestic violence refers to injury or harm or threat of injury or harm caused by an adult, usually by the husband against his wife. Injury may be caused by physically beating up the woman or by emotionally abusing her. Emotionally abuse of the woman includes verbal, sexual, and economic abuse. Economic abuse. The two right the new law help achieved for the women who were survivor of violence. The new law, Domestic Violence Act passed in 2005 recognizes the right of women to live in and share household. Women can get protection or against any further violence. According to the Hindu Session Amendment Act 2005, son and daughter and their mother have an equal share in the land and other property. This is also Act for domestic violence. I have already told you about the unpopular and controversial law. Let us now look at the situation where the parliament passed law that turned out to be very unpopular. Sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid to hence legal, but it can continue to be unpopular and unacceptable to people because they feel that intention behind it is unfair and harmful. Hence, people might criticize this law, hold public meeting, write about it in newspaper, report to TV news channel, etc. In democracy, like our citizen can express their unwillingness to accept representative law. Now, next point is criticize. Criticize means in the chapter the term refers to citizens who find fault with the functioning of government. Criticize to find fault with this or disapprove of a person or thing. In the context of this chapter, it refers to citizen finding fault with the functioning of government. Students, in a democratic country like India, people have full right to protest unjust law. Make it clear through an example. Various municipal law on the use of space within municipal limits often make hawking and street vending illegal. No one will dispute of necessity of some rules to keep the public space open for people's convenience. At the same time, one cannot deny that hawker and vendor provide essential service. Is their meaning of livelihood. If the law favors one group and disgrade the other, it will be controversial and lead to the conflict. In such situation, people can go to the parliament and modify the law. Now, next point is evolution. Evolution. In this chapter, evolution refers to way in which protecting women against domestic violence development developed from the urgently felt need to new law that can be enforced in the entire country. Now, next point is repressive. In this chapter, repressive refer to the law that use brutal method to control person and preventing them from the exercising their fundamental right. Repressive to control several in order to prevent free and natural development or expression. In the context of this chapter, it refers the law that brutally control person and often preventing them from exercising their fundamental right, including right to speech and assembly. This is the representative. Now, students, I hope you get easily understand this whole chapter. And here in this chapter we study about the rule of law. It means that all law apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above of the law. Now, goodbye and see you in next class.